Guys, you saw the title in the thumbnail. An AI actress just got hired instead of a real human. Crazy. I also did that because I wanted a thumbnail. But anyway, it's still pretty crazy. I mean, if you've heard about Tilly Norwood, she's literally a fully AI-generated actress that has been turning the whole world upside down and giving studios a alternative way of making films specifically for AI-generated actors or avatars, which are super low cost. And if an AI can replace actors, what do you think happens to the average content creator? Well, this video is not necessarily about some fear, even though it might feel like it. It's about exactly how to future-proof yourself going into the future, so that way you can never have to really compete with a robot for your spot. Let's get into it. So, like I mentioned before, Tilly Norwood is essentially an AI-generated actress made by a Dutch woman who has an agency that basically generates all these actors and avatars to use in intellectual property, being like movies, TV shows, and all this sort of stuff. She owns a production company based on using image generators and AI language models, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Tilly Norwood, she basically behaves like a regular actress, basically a young woman, and she even has an Instagram, which is kind of crazy. I mean, we even have VTubers, which are literally happening all over the place over YouTube, which is kind of crazy. And it's essentially this concept of making stars out of these AI prompt-generated platforms in order to either low cost or create another form of creativity that people can just use at their own exposure. And not only that, but on top of that, it might seem a little frightening to people who have been in the space for a really long time. The controversy essentially comes from the fact that the studio or studios in general and agencies are experimenting with using her instead of human actors, right? Which freaks people out a little bit. I mean, wouldn't you be freaked out a little bit, especially with all these VTubers all over the place? Because it shows how easily the AI can replace people that just do generic on-camera work, right? So, what does this mean? So essentially, like, anything, at least from my standpoint, taking consideration of like all the people that I've learned from, any generic, replaceable, or emotionless content, I should say, will be automated. Like, any of that type of content is going to be able to be done at scale and literally at the disclosure of these agencies and studios that have access to these assets. Like average tutorials, faceless YouTubes, like top 5 tips of whatever, and just bland talking head videos of people that we don't even know, right? So if you're a content creator and somebody that wants to become a content creator or a business owner that uses their content in order to make money online and to grow, then you need to build in ways that AI cannot, okay? So here are 5 ways that you can basically future-proof yourself for the future as these AI avatars come into the mix. But before we get into that, if you guys like the topic and what we're going to be talking about today, please like the video. It really helps out the channel. And subscribe if you absolutely love these videos, because I put videos out like this every single day about content creation, storytelling, literally personal branding, social media marketing, etc., 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 and you don't want to miss them. Would really appreciate y'all into the community. Otherwise, let's get back into it. So, number 1 of basically future-proofing yourself is that you have to become a person, not a template. So what does that mean? Your personality plus your story is the most original concept or asset that you have at your disclosure. AI can mimic a face, AI can mimic a voice, but it can't live your life, right? It can literally only go based off of prompts, right? So if you share your specific journey, if you, let's say you built a social media marketing agency, for example, first link in description, or you decided that you wanted to become a content creator for the first time in your life, or you're figuring out how to help other people with content, or you have a business and you're developing in this business overall and you have real client stories, this, that, and the third. These are very useful, more so than anything else, because you did them yourself. It's not like anybody told you to put that into a computer and beep, boop, boop, bop, and then all of a sudden they come out. Shout out to SpongeBob. Anyway, the second thing is that you have to use strong opinions. not only your specific journey is absolutely useful, but your strong opinions are not going to be told by an AI. You can literally go on ChatGPT or Claude or any of the prompt-based platforms, and you ask them anything about strong opinions, being like, how do you feel about this line in the sand topic? How do you feel about this, that, and the third? It'll say, I am a generative AI response and I cannot give a response based off of that prompt because it will insinuate blah, 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 blah. In the sense, it's like, that's an opportunity for you, because then you can essentially share with the world what you believe about content, what you believe about creators, what you believe about your niche, what you believe about your business, and not just tips that a faceless content creator or a faceless content AI-based platform maker generator can make, right? So, and the next thing is that you can show behind the scenes. An AI cannot show behind the scenes. It physically cannot. Can't be like, hey, look, here's all my studio and all my equipment, this, that, and the third. It's just like, I can do that right now. Like, there's a light here, there's a little board here, there's my ideas are over there. Like an AI can't show you that. You know what I'm saying? Especially the way that you say it too. So if you think about it, just think about it for 2 seconds. If you can think about it and say, if I can swap myself, like, look at your videos. And you watch your videos and you think, if I can swap out AI with myself, reading the same script and nothing changes, then you're not future-proof. That's a problem. So then how do we solve that? By these tips that I'm basically giving you. Number 2 is own a problem, not just a topic, okay? Because the goal is to essentially be the go-to person, the go-to guru, the go-to coach in order to actually give a specific transformation, a quantifiable result within a quantifiable timeline. An AI can't do that. For example, most creators will say, I talk about this specific thing in this specific niche. Or I talk about how people deal with this specific issue, right? Future-proof creators say, I help specific niche solve specific problem within a specific timeline, okay? An example within my niche, right, which is literally content creation, filmmaking, personal branding, storytelling, etc., is that I help adventurous, or I should say, not admirational, how is it said? Aspiring, I guess. I help aspiring creators and business owners who want to use content to make money online. That's it, right? And usually within a 90-day period, or depending on what's their timeline, right? But the action points that you can do right now in order to create this for yourself is essentially, who do you help? Essentially, for me, it would be like small creators, coaches, agency owners, business owners, right? What result you keep talking about, being like clarity, for me, clarity, consistency, content, offers that convert, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when? How long does it take for you to help these people overall, whether it be in your offers or within the content that you generate for people overall? So you want to make sure that with these points, that you're also building a video series that also solves this one problem. For example, like, here's a series on why nobody is watching your content. Here, specifically talking about me. Here's a series of how to actually know your audience. Here's a series about how to stop buying gear and just focusing on cinematography overall with the camera that you got. AI can generate infinite videos about whatever tips in your specific niche, but it can't be the person your audience wants to come to in order to solve their problem. Especially if it's a convoluted issue, kind of like that requires so much due diligence on the part of the persons, like real estate, lawyers, accountants, etc., etc., etc. Number 3, you got to move yourself up the value chain, right? You want to go from talent to essentially the architect of your niche. So what does that mean? You're not just the face of your content. You're essentially the strategist of your niche. So let me explain. It's like being just on camera is replaceable. Like, literally, they're making AI avatars up the wazoo, and I guess everybody's just trying to shoot to make the most clearest, cleanest AI avatar possible. And designing a strategy, a message, and a system is essentially your version to counteract that overall, right? Because with the strategy, with the right management, with the right system, right, you can learn that within content, it requires the right messaging and hooks, how to structure videos properly for retention, how the content ties into your offer or funnel, depending on what type of business owner you are. For business owners specifically, it's like videos that don't sell, specifically optimizing your videos for sell outcomes like more leads, clearer brand attention, better sales calls, you name it. So in the AI era, the only people who will survive is the people who are willing to get onto camera to implement these action steps, so that way they develop that strategy, their message, and their system in order to consistently provide leads for their business and to fulfill their lives with the stuff that they actually enjoy talking about. Now, point number 4, you got to use AI as your clone and not as your replacement. So the goal is essentially to use AI, even though we're talking about how to become future-proof, but you want to make sure that you're also using it at your own disclosure, so that way you can command AI instead of it competing with you. And I just want to make something very clear, like AI isn't necessarily the enemy, it's just a force multiplier. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you understand that AI is essentially trying to beat us at the volume game, and that's okay. But who says we can't use the volume game on the AI side for ourselves as well? Here's some examples of ways that you could use AI today practically. Number 1, you could essentially use it to repurpose your talking head videos into shorts, into emails, into hooks, into scripts, into VSLs, into anything, right? You could also turn your frameworks into carousels, cheat sheets, mini courses, a bigger course if you don't have the time in order to film the videos, right? You could also use AI avatars in order to answer frequent asked questions, FAQs otherwise, on your website, onboarding videos, do multilingual translations or versions of your concept, right? Which that's what I plan to do. I want to eventually get a lot of more stuff in Spanish too out there. So the ideas, the frameworks, and the stories are still yours, but AI is just helping you ship that out to more people and faster than ever before. So make sure you use it. Just don't replace yourself with it, okay? And number 5, you gotta build a library, not just post willy-nilly. Because the thing is, the goal out of all of this, no matter what AI is doing, you wanna make sure that because AI is an asset on its own, you wanna create an asset base that you can literally rely on and compounds over time. So let me explain. A lot of people will always try to post content just to get one-off viral hits, and essentially those are fragile. Like, they're not necessarily guaranteed, right? Going viral isn't necessarily guaranteed unless you're diligent about the research and the mad scientist stuff and just literally tweaking every single variable, and like every single couple months the algorithm changes. So it's like there's no use into getting into that. You might as well just provide more value consistently, and then on top of that use paid ads. But anyway, having that said, a library of 200 to 500 different posts, that's literally a year's worth of content focused around the concepts that you're trying to help out and the core problem you're trying to solve, is much more durable, right? So then how can you start making 200 to 500 videos every single year, or just having those videos at your own disclosure? Well, you can commit to doing 1 to 2 talking head videos, whether it be short form or long form, on your platforms. It really doesn't matter. I really don't care where you do it, but just do it around your specific core angle, right? Like shorts that essentially point back, if you're going to make shorts, that point back to the long form videos. And if you're making long form videos, then you make shorts from those long form videos that point back to the long form videos, if that makes sense. So I want you to think of this in like a series. It's like, for example, in my sense, like in the creator space, in the personal branding space, in the content creation space, it'd be like clarity over content, or stop waiting for perfect gear, or know your audience series, or you are your worst enemy. It doesn't matter. The point still stands. It's because AI, like I said before, is going to win in volume. But you win by combining volume with intention. And more often than not, you can't really do that with AI unless it depends on the person who's actually controlling it, right? So, anyway, to close out, this is the new game for creators. I hope all of that was valuable, because AI actors essentially prove something, and this is after like reading a couple articles based off of Tilly. generic creativity is done. You have to start thinking out of the box and start doing something with your life that is valuable to other people. But if you're willing, especially if you're willing to be human, specific, and strategic, this is the best time in history to become a creator. And that's absolutely exciting. So most people will stay average, and that sucks, I'll be quite honest with you. And AI is going to eat that, I promise you. You heard it here first. But the ones who lean into their own opinions, generating their own strategy, generating their own story, sharing their story rather with the rest of the world, they're about to stand out even more, because everybody's going to be using AI and everybody will just become the same. And when you're in a room of a lot of people looking the same, you stand out the most. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. Make sure, if you like the video, to like it and to subscribe to the channel, because I put videos out like this every single day and you don't want to miss them. On top of that, if you want to make videos for other people, just like I have, for, you know, just to make your own business and get yourself out of the hole into a 6-figure business overall in less than a year, click the first link in the description. I literally have a course with my business partner where we teach you how to basically do that within less than a year, literally in 90 days. So if you're interested in that, first link in the description. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching the video and potentially for subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.